Well, Skip, I gave him a 9 because it was Utah, because this is the third seed in the Western Conference, and we know what Utah represents. Utah's a very good team. Donovan Mitchell is an all-star. Rudy Gobert, I think, is a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. I think Draymond Green deserves that award if it was to be given out right now, but we'll see how he comes back and how healthy he is. But, Skip, for them to do what they, and especially getting down by 10 points late in the third quarter and finding a way to come back. And if you look at how they did it, a lot of the guys they did it with, Skip, were role players. If you look at all the starters, with the exception of LeBron James, they were a minus. All the bench players that played were a plus. You look at Austin Reeves, you look at Stanley Johnson, Malik Monk slid back into coming off the bench. Those guys were the ones that got them back into the ball game. Stanley Johnson was unbelievable in the fourth quarter. Skip, he's always going to be undersized because he's going to be playing your 4 or your 5. So he's trying to guard Rudy Gobert. Skip, Rudy Gobert is bigger than the giant that David killed, and Stanley Johnson is, what, 6'9"? I mean, he's like a little kid. I'm like, and he's battling all he can, making great plays. And then in the fourth quarter, he got the and one on Gobert. LeBron found him diving to the basket a couple of times. I thought he played well last night. LeBron was not his efficient self. He was more of a facilitator. 7 assists, 7 rebounds. I thought Russ did a good job. Even though he didn't shoot the ball well, he did a better job of taking care of the basketball. And that dunk, Skip, I think we're going to talk about it later, it kind of got them going. Because when he turned the corner, he says, I'm banging on whomever. Yeah, that's Rudy Gobert. I don't care. And it brought the house down. It seemingly energized the entire Laker sideline and the guys on the court. And I look, okay, we're on to something now. But if they play like this, Skip, they did a great job. What happened is that they started turning the ball over in the third quarter, and it let Utah get out and get to a 10-point lead. They started taking care of the basketball, started making a few shots, and the next thing you know, they track them down, take the lead, and not look back. So I was impressed for the simple fact that they beat a team that we know going to be into the playoffs, can make a lot of threes. Donovan Mitchell can take a ball game over. Rudy Gobert leads the league in rebounding. And so Conley, he's special. They can make shots. So I was very impressed with what I saw last night. Now, can they string together some of these against quality teams? We've seen them win 4 out of 5 against bottom feeders. Can they beat teams that we believe that's going to be in the playoffs? Can they string together a couple of victories against those type teams to give them some confidence that says, okay, we might be on to something?
So, Shannon Sharpe gives the Lakers a 9 for their effort last night. Does that mean Shannon Sharpe is back on the Lakers bandwagon, as in they got a shot to win it all?
No, that does not mean Shannon Sharpe is back on that bandwagon, chance to win it all. Absolutely not.
Okay, my turn. I will give the Lakers' performance last night on the impressive scale of 1 to 10 a 3. The reason I will give it a 3 is because Utah came in as number 1 in the NBA in offensive efficiency. The Lakers came in as 17th in defensive efficiency. So what really happened last night, would you believe that these four players for the Utah Jazz combined to go 1 for 26 from 3. These 4 players were Donovan Mitchell, he's pretty good, right? Bogdanovich, he's pretty good. Jordan Clarkson is really a dynamo coming off the bench for them. And Rudy Gay has bounced around, but he can still stroke it. Those 4 players combined from 3 last night to go 1 for 26. Even worse, they went 0 for 9 in the fourth quarter. 0 for 9. And you guys locked them up. I watched the whole game from start to finish. I saw a whole bunch of uncontested, wide open, dare you to make it threes that just would not fall for the Utah Jazz last night at the Crypt. I saw an aberration. I saw a flukish game. And I'm not going to give you an 8 or a 9 as you were giving the Lakers, because I am here to tell you that with it, as inspirational as Russ's dunk was, with 8 minutes and 19 seconds left in the game last night, your team was down 9? Down 9? And wait, 8:19 left, you're down 9, and Russ's dunk just lifted everything. It changed life for the... No, it didn't. I'm sorry, It did not.
Yes, it did.
Guess who changed life for the Lakers? The guy who changed life for the Lakers last night is on his third 10-day contract. He's still on a 10-day contract. His name is Stanley Johnson. He's bounced around the league. He was once a first-round pick. We get it. But he's an L.A. kid. At least he's from Anaheim, went to Mater Dei. We get it. The point is, if we could see what Stanley Johnson did to Rudy Gobert because they went small and Rudy had to guard Stanley Johnson. These are his 5 baskets in the fourth quarter. He goes right up through Gobert. Powered right. LeBron gave him the tip. Just go at him. Go right at his body. That was on Ingles. Look at these shots that he's making. Gobert says, okay, I'll give you that. And he strokes it from 16 feet. Bingo. And here he goes again, up and under. That's pretty easy. Where are you, Utah? What are you doing? And then he just says, I'm going right up through Stifle Tower. I'm going to stifle the tower. And he stifled him. Look at this. That's Stanley Johnson scoring 10 points in the fourth quarter. And look what they did. He cut the lead to 4. He cut it to 2. He tied the game. He put him up 4, and he put him up 4 again with 5:35 left. Stanley Johnson was the star of the game. Stanley Johnson changed life for one night. Are they going to give him another 10-day contract? He's not even officially on your team right now, and you're taking credit for what Stanley Johnson did?
Well, Skip, I don't think you can sign a guy. I think you have to sign him for the rest of the season because you only get 2 10-day contracts per team. So I don't think they can. The only way they can keep him on the team, they would actually
That's what they said last night. I don't know.
Yeah, but with one team though.
Maybe he's official.
With one team. He was okay. He was on a 10-day contract with another team, Skip. I think this is only a second 10-day with the Lakers. So if I'm not mistaken, I feel correct in saying this, that if he in order for him to remain, once this 10-day is up, they're going to have to sign him to a roster spot.
Well, they better, because he was the whole show last night. Okay, which brings me to my final point about your Lakers. I thought the key to the game down the stretch was that Frank Vogel, would you believe he had the guts to play Russell Westbrook in the fourth quarter, a grand total of 3 minutes and 24 seconds. Yeah. This is the Russ who is leading the league by far in minutes played. Number 1 in the NBA in minutes played. But down the stretch, fourth quarter, guess who ate up his minutes? Guess who played 9 minutes of the fourth quarter last night? The undrafted kid, the rookie from the University of Oklahoma, Austin Reeves. 9 minutes versus Russ's 3 minutes and 24 seconds in the fourth. I can't imagine that Russ was real happy about that. But I think the team was real happy about it because they got the turnover nightmare, who is Russell Westbrook, who is still leading the league in turnovers by far, out of the way, out of harm's way. And could we see the shot that Austin Reeves made? This was, if we could see the
tip. You talking about the tip, Skip?
Made. He gets his own miss and tips it with his left hand. That put them up 4. That was 3:49 left. Look at this. How good is that over Gobert? That kid can play. I told you, he's your second best all-around player. I'm being sort of half kidding about it, but seriously, on both ends of the floor, he just knows how to play. LeBron trusts him. Vogel trusts him. And he helps because he's a glue guy for them, because he doesn't need the ball. He doesn't have to have the ball. But if you need him to make a shot, a key big shot at Dallas in overtime, he will make that shot. And then if we could see the ultimate dagger came from Avery Bradley. I wish it was Avery. How are you, Avery Johnson? But the point is, if we could see the shot that Avery Bradley made to dagger this game, it came off a LeBron miss. If we could see this. It's late in the game. I think we're going to see it in a second. Here we go. Okay, so LeBron's got the ball. LeBron misses 3. And guess who? Stanley Johnson gets the rebound. Back to LeBron, who flicks it into the middle, and it almost was a turnover. But guess who got it back? Stanley Johnson got it and found Avery Bradley open in the corner. Dagger, ball game. It's a little bit fluky. It's a little bit aberration. I'm not buying it. Again, they got Indiana, Wednesday night? Let's see. It's a team they should beat. But every time we say it's a team they should beat, they don't.
But, Skip, we're talking about for one game. And you know that happens sometimes. If you look at all the shots that guys I had never heard of for the Nuggets making threes, they made like 23 or 35 threes. So we saw a guy that was pulling up Saturday night. He was pulling up from 28, 29 in people's face. I'd never heard of the guy. So that happens.
I got it.
But I think we need to give the Lakers some credit because you said Utah's #1 in efficiency, and the Lakers just held them to 95 points. Whatever the reason,
they did.
It's a make or miss league. The reason why they're #1 because they make a lot of the threes. But give the Lakers credit considering that they played LeBron and Stanley Johnson at the 4 and the 5, and sometimes LeBron took Rudy Gobert. A lot of times Stanley Johnson took Rudy Gobert, and they played them. And they didn't get crushed on the glass like they normally do.
Okay, so the Lakers had lost 3 straight games, allowing 128 a game. They gave up 130. Yes. I'm sorry, they lost by 37 at Denver, right? And then
Denver,
that happened last night. And I'll give you, I do think they just got a little ashamed that their pride got rubbed raw. I think they tried harder on defense last night, but I also think it was mostly a fact that Utah had what I believe will go down as their worst shooting night of the season. When all is said and done, you'll look back at this from those 4 stud scores of theirs. You'll say that was their worst combined game of the year. And I think it mostly had to do with it's a make or miss league, as Doc Rivers has said.
Yeah.
Okay, so they missed.
Do you believe Denver is 37 points better than the Lakers?
No.
Well, you see what happens when one team makes their threes and the other, when one team misses 23s like the Lakers did, and one team makes 23 like the Nuggets did, well, that's what you're going to get.
Okay, but I think the Lakers are closer to the team we saw Saturday night, the team that Magic Johnson crushed in his tweet, the team that embarrassed the great Magic Johnson. That's the team I think that we're still looking at for the most part.
No, they're not. They're not that bad. Yeah, I don't think they're a very good team, but they're not 37 points bad. Well, they lost by 42 earlier this year, Skip, to Indiana. Remember, the first time in Indiana, Skip, if I'm not mistaken, they lost by 42 to them.
Okay, so it sounds like Shannon Sharpe is back on the bandwagon.
No. All I'm saying is I was impressed by what they did last night. We're talking about last night, not what happened Saturday night, what potentially could happen Wednesday night, what happened last night. And I was impressed by that because Utah is a good team. They're #1 in offensive efficiency, and the Lakers just held them to 95 points. Give them credit for that, Skip. Just this.
Go ahead. Throw a parade. You be the grand master of that parade today.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.